Today we are checking out the latest radio from RadioMaster, the GX15, a radio that offers pretty much all the capabilities of their flagship with a different format. The best moment.
Welcome to EdgeTX.
This is the new GX15 MAX, the latest transmitter from RadioMaster. It introduces a new format for RadioMaster's high-end range, developed with traditional RC pilots in mind and built around a full-color touchscreen above the gimbals. The top-mounted screen gives the radio its distinctive shape, while the gimbals and switches remain in the familiar layout most RC pilots are already used to. The two antennas are integrated inside the radio, keeping the design clean and making it easier to transport. And towards the bottom, you have a new set of physical controls for navigating through the menus whenever you don't want to use each touchscreen. RadioMaster offers the GX15 in two versions, the standard model and the MAX version I am reviewing here. The MAX comes with the AG02 CNC gimbals, metal controls, and the upgraded MAX finish. Both versions include the full flexibility of EdgeTX, internal 2.4 GHz ExpressLRS, internal storage, microSD support, and USB-C for charging, data transfer, and to use it with your favorite simulator. The GX15 MAX comes well presented inside its own protective carrying case, so you already have a practical way to transport it. Inside you get the transmitter, a neck strap, a USB Type-C cable, a branch for adjusting the gimbals, and a few spare parts. It also includes a battery tray for the 18650 batteries, although the batteries need to be purchased separately. The radio feels very good in hands. It is light and compact, and the ergonomics are clearly well designed for handheld flying. I normally fly exclusively with a transmitter tray, but in my opinion the GX15 is one of the best radios I've tested for handheld use. RadioMaster has a lot of experience designing compact radios for drone pilots, as well as more traditional transmitters now, and the GX15 feels like a very successful combination of both approaches. In any case, I am, and probably always will be, a tray pilot. Since this was an early access unit, there were no dedicated trays available when I received it. The tray you see in the video is a custom modification of one of my existing trays and is not commercially available, but I'm sure dedicated options will appear once the radio is officially released. So, while the GX15 feels especially natural handheld, it also works very well on a tray. The main functional difference between the standard GX15 and the MAX version is the gimbals. The MAX comes with RadioMaster's AG02 gimbals. They're top-of-the-line CNC aluminum gimbals with Hall effect sensors. They feel solid and premium, and they are also highly adjustable. Most of the travel and spring tension adjustments can be made directly from the front of the radio without opening it. The only exception is the throttle ratchet, which is adjusted by removing the leather grip on the throttle side.
Next maneuver, 2 quarter rolls, then a 1.5 snap roll, opposite direction.
Next maneuver.
In flight, they feel exactly as you would expect from a high-end gimbal. Smooth, accurate, and very consistent. These are also the same gimbals I've been using on my TX16S MK3, and so far I've been very happy with them. The gimbals also have programmable RGB lighting. At first I thought it was mainly cosmetic, but for example, and something I read in a comment, using a simple EdgeTX special function you can set them to red when the airplane is disarmed and green when it is ready to fly. It is a small feature, but also a good example of how customizable EdgeTX radios can be. The top-mounted screen is obviously one of the main features of the GX15. Your hands do not block it, and it's much easier to check the timer or telemetry values during flight. For F3A, I have to be honest, it's useful, but it's not a dramatic change. During the sequence, we are focused almost completely on the airplane, and most of the important information you will probably use will come from its integrated speaker for voice alerts. But when you do need to look at it, the screen is definitely easier to see. In order to move through the EdgeTX menus, RadioMaster has installed the 3.5-inch color touchscreen, which is very useful to interact with. It's bright and fast, and enough for all the programming you can do. If you prefer physical buttons, there's a new set position at the bottom of the radio. You have a scroll wheel, directional controls, and programmable RGB buttons. The GX15 runs EdgeTX.
Welcome to EdgeTX.
The open source operating system used across RadioMaster transmitters. In simple terms, EdgeTX is the software inside the radio. It allows you to assign channels, adjust how far each control surface moves, create throttle curves, program switches, and configure the complete behavior of your model. It runs on a fast 8.7 processor, so the entire system feels smooth and responsive. Menus open quickly, changing models is immediate, and the radio has no problem handling complex aerobatic setups like a competition F3A model. For traditional RC pilots, EdgeTX gives you a huge amount of freedom. You can configure dual rates, exponentials, throttle curves, programming mixes, logical switches, special functions, and practically any customization you might need. I will publish a separate video showing my current F3A configuration using the GX15. The radio also includes an active cooling system to manage the temperature of the internal electronics. It has vibration alerts, an integrated speaker, and a motion sensor that can be assigned to different functions through EdgeTX. There is also support for an external RF module, allowing you to use other compatible link systems and protocols when needed. You also have internal storage, micro SD support, and USB-C for charging, firmware updates, data transfer, and simulator use. Another advantage of EdgeTX is how easy it is to transfer models between different radios. Using EdgeTX Companion, I could move my complete setups with a few clicks instead of rebuilding every model one by one. For the radio link, which is for me what matters most, the GX15 has an internal 2.4 GHz ExpressLRS system. ExpressLRS is the communication link between the transmitter and the receiver in the airplane, and it is one of the main reasons I decided to use more and more RadioMaster for my competition setups. At first, it can feel a little intimidating because there are many settings and quite a lot to learn. But once you start understanding the system, that flexibility becomes one of its biggest advantages. I can adjust the output power and how frequently the transmitter sends controlled updates to the receiver, allowing me to choose the balance I want between latency, range, and power consumption. The GX15 supports all the ExpressLRS packet rates modes, and its maximum output power is 250 mW, which I think is already the sweet spot for traditional line-of-sight flying and perfect for F3A. You can also configure how the system uses its two antennas for diversity. And maybe this is not relevant to everyone, but as an engineer, I love being able to log all the telemetry during a flight and review it afterwards. This is, for example, the data recorded after installing my RadioMaster receiver in my F3A model and flying it with the GX15. I can see the link quality throughout the flight, the RSSI values, how many times the system switched between the antennas, and how efficient was that switching, and much more. I also really value having live information about the quality of the radio link while I'm flying, especially when I arrive at a new field. Being able to see the link quality and RSSI gives me confidence that the system is performing correctly. I no longer want to trust a radio link completely blindly. I prefer to see how it is performing, reviewing the data, and make decisions based on that information. After so many years of using closed systems, it feels great to have access to all this information and the freedom to adjust the settings based on the results. One of the things that has surprised me most is how consistent and direct the control feels, with very low latency throughout the flight. Latency is still difficult to judge purely by feel, and this is obviously very personal, but the experience has been excellent and consistent with my other ExpressLRS systems. I'm still testing different settings and learning how each one affects the flying experience, especially for F3A. But this is definitely something I want to explore in more detail in future videos, including a dedicated look at latency and the different ExpressLRS configurations available for precision aerobatics. I linked my GX15 with the ExpressLRS PWM receivers from RadioMaster. For all my F3A models, I use the ER8, which gives me enough channels to control all the control surfaces. The receiver has two antennas, built-in telemetry, compatibility with RadioMaster ERS sensors, and it also allows you to adjust the PWM output frequency independently for each channel, up to 400 Hz. This is especially useful with high-performance servos, such as the dual-sky servos I use in my models, because each output can be configured to match the capabilities of the servo connected to it and obtain the best response. I'll leave links to all the equipment I'm using in the description of this video. In flight, the GX15 MAX feels exactly as a high-end transmitter should. The AG02 gimbals feel precise and consistent, the switches and trims are easy to reach, the screen is easy to check when needed, and the voice alerts are loud and clear. When you combine good hardware, precise gimbals, and a reliable, low-latency radio link, the result is a very complete system that allows you to stop thinking about the transmitter and focus on flying. So after using the GX15 for the last few weeks, I think it's definitely another very strong option within the RadioMaster lineup. It offers a completely different format, and I think it will be especially attractive for pilots who prefer to fly handheld. You still get all the benefits of EdgeTX and ExpressLRS together with the level of build quality RadioMaster has been delivering with its latest transmitters. I have not tested the standard versions, but for F3A pilots, I honestly think the MAX is the way to go. In my opinion, investing in the best gimbals is always a good decision, especially for precision flying. The standard version will still give you the same ExpressLRS system, EdgeTX capabilities, and core radio hardware, so the final decision will depend on your discipline, your expectations, and your budget. Overall, the GX15 feels excellent in flight. It's fully capable for top-level F3A, and I plan to keep using it beyond this review, so stay tuned for more content.